So the video you're about ready to watch, it is kind of a long video to me. For you guys, it's going to be like a 20 something minute video and it's going to be condensed. But this video, I've kind of been working on it for like over 2 weeks over the course of many days. And you'll see that as the video progresses. But I just want to interject here. I'm kind of in editing mode now. I've already recorded everything and now I'm kind of putting it all together. I just want to insert a message to new gardeners or people who are just wanting to garden and do garden and have gardened in the past, but then life gets in the way and you have just a complete bed of weeds. And that's what I've had for, well, close to 2 years. I know I didn't work in that bed at all last year at all. And the weeds just multiplied. It became just this very chaotic mess. And I use that word more than any other word I think on my whole channel is mess. I was looking at some of my old videos the other day, and I use that word so often, mess. And yes, I don't have a perfect garden, but I've still been able to enjoy lots of beautiful flowers, some fruit, vegetables. Things don't have to be perfect. And I kind of fall into that all or nothing mentality sometimes. And the more I embrace the concept of doing the best I can do for the time I have and the circumstance I have at that moment, the more I'm able to just enjoy that situation without feeling, well, I do feel a little bit of guilt, I'm not going to be honest, but you just have to give yourself a little bit of patience and grace because there's always going to be other things getting in the way. And if you wait until the perfect moment to garden, or to do whatever you want to do in life, it's probably not going to work out because there's not going to be a perfect moment. So yeah, I've had weeds in this one bed you're going to see today in this video for almost 2 years. It looked good 2 years ago, and guess what? By the end of this video, it's going to look good again. So I've been able to devote time over the last, couple weeks, hour or two each night after I got dinner cooked. I'd go out there and I'd work. I spent a Saturday out there, 2 or 3, 4 hours. And it looks great. It feels good. I just want to insert that. Just give yourself some patience and grace. If that's what you're going through right now, so I need to give myself that too. I need to, well, honestly, I'm just going to say that having the HOA coming back to check on things the beginning of June has really pushed me the last month or so, especially the last 2 weeks, to really get out there and get some stuff done. I kind of wonder if I didn't have an HOA, what my yard would look like. Okay, guys, enjoy the video. Comment. I always like it when you like it too, and especially the comments. I love the comments. But I'm glad you're here, and I will see you throughout the video. All right, so here we are at the sort of starting point. I did work on the corner of this bed earlier in the month, but you can see where we're starting from, all the weeds, chickweed. I've got this plastic edging that we're going to get rid of, and here are my peppers in front of this weeping cherry. It's not a weeping cherry, it's an okami cherry tree. It's not weeping. I don't know why I said that. I do want one, that's why, probably. We've got all of these flowers just kind of making a big tangly mess, but then we've got the beautiful larkspur, and there's some Weigela back in there. You really almost can't even see it at this point. But all of this is going to get revamped, weeded. Every square inch is going to get weeded. We're going to put down mulch. And so here we are at the corner I worked on, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. And I'm going to take you back in time and kind of show you what I did. So there was the starting point for this corner, all chickweed, as you can see. The butterfly bush was gigantic and huge. I had not pruned it for 2 years. It was just gigantic, like really gigantic. So the first thing I wanted to do was prune it. Even though it's not the right time, it's okay. Just to get it back in shape, I'm going to make it look better. And then this old pineapple sage needs to come out too, the canes from that. And I took off the edging. I started doing my in-ground edging, which I prefer. Pulled out a bunch of seedlings I found along the way. Tied up my daffodils. My mother-in-law taught me that trick. She's since passed, but I always think of her when I do this. And put down my cardboard, wet it, mulch, planted a couple things in these containers, cleaned them up, and just got things looking more contained. It was really out of control. Planted these beautiful cosmos that I bought. I bought those. And then here we are after the pruning of that bush. The bees are loving the bachelor buttons, the larkspur, so pretty. So we're just going to keep working. I wanted to start in the middle back bed, but I thought I need to work on the front first because that's what people see from the road, and that's what the HOA is going to see when they pull up. So I forced myself to start in the front, and I'm glad I did. It really helped me kind of get a pattern going, and then I'm going to work myself left to the middle bed. So you can see I took off that edging, and I'm weeding, trimming. Everything's getting pushed up and out of the way so I can get under the shrubs. I've got volunteers here of straw flower that I found. We'll repurpose those later, but look at this pomegranate tree. It needs to get pruned as well. And so that's what we're doing. It's just a long long process, and here we are at the very end of this very productive afternoon, evening, and it's completely dark.
The next day.
So the next evening, I started here with the lucifer bulbs and the pomegranate area, and you can't even tell, but there's actually a hardy hibiscus in a container down in this area. All of this is going to get pruned up. I am going to leave the fruit there just in case it gets pollinated and produces fruit. But I'm going to work on this host strip here today. Look at all the chickweed down in there. But I love the light filtering through the larkspur. It is just so pretty. And that makes working out here in the evenings kind of nice.
The next day.
All right, back at it. This is day 3 in a row. And then, of course, I did some work about 3-4 weeks ago on the front side. And things are coming along. However, I was down here weeding, and I just poked myself in the eye with one of these Gladolia smaller spikes coming up out of the ground. And these Gladolias have so many babies. I don't think I could ever remove all of those little babies. So I'm just going to leave them here, even though I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not a Gladolia fan. Even though I have like probably 3 different varieties in the front yard, I'm not a big fan, but they're going to stay, and we'll see if we can just work around them. So I have a bag of these dahlias left. There should be 3 in there. They get about 25 inches tall. So I think I will put them just kind of tucked in front of the Gladolias. I will leave the wallflowers that are struggling. They may flower again. They may put off some seed. They've been here a really long time. They are a perennial, but after so many years, they kind of struggle and look like this, kind of ugly. So let's put the dahlias in, finish up this side. It is a gorgeous day today. It is not too hot at all. It's really nice. Doesn't the larkspur look so pretty? Okay, so I'm using this little tool, which I bought this for one of my kids, like, I don't know, a long time ago. But I love it. It's wobbly, but it works to just kind of weed the area so nicely. So I really love it. Love this little tool. But now I'm working on the inner part of this bed, and pretty soon we will be able to get the watermelons happy. And I think I'm just going to pull everything out of this container. Pretty sure the rose in here is dead. What I may do though is there is one poppy that's in this container that's almost ready to be dry enough to collect the seeds, and we will save the seeds from this one poppy. You can tell when they're ready because there will be windows that open. There's a wasp trying to get me. There will be little windows that open right under this crown, and they are not open, so they are not ready to collect. And I just bent it. I think it'll still process though. We'll just get him out of the way. And I did prune back here also the butterfly bush. So I'm going to give that rose a second shot, or like a fifth or sixth shot, because it has been relocated and living a rough life the last few years. I'm going to plant it right here behind the peony and see how it does. The deer will try to eat it, but maybe it'll be kind of protected in this area. But what I wanted to show you guys is all the garlic that has produced little babies. This garlic was planted probably 2 years ago. You can see how it divides when left alone. There's like 4 right here. I could separate these and plant them, which I probably will do. This makes really good pest control to keep rabbits and deer away. They just don't like the smell of garlic. So I'm going to save these, and I'm going to dig a hole and get this rose in there. This required a really, really deep hole, as you can see by how big that root system is. So I do see some new growth right there. So we're going to prune it up. I will cut off everything brown, and we'll just hope for the best. And there's the rose. Actually, don't look half bad right there. I'm going to go ahead and crush, even though I said these aren't mature, just for the heck of it, because I had to pull him out. He's all broken. I'm just going to crush the poppies around the rose right there. You can see these are very immature. They're like an orange-brown color. When you harvest them at maturity, they're black, like little black poppy seeds. So I'm just going to, just for the fun, I mean, you never know, right? You never know. So if we have a huge concentration of poppies right here, we'll know that this worked. I don't really have high hopes, but you never know. You never know. So we just have to try.
The next day.
But we're out here kind of in the nice cool evening air, and I am continuing all the way around back to where I started. Pretty much got all of this area done yesterday evening, and it looks good. I have a new plant that I'm going to put in one of those pots, and hopefully Tonto will feel better, and we will get back out here tomorrow and finish, because this has taken forever. It really is, guys. But I haven't worked on this bed in 2 years, so it's time that I put in the time to get it done and looking good.
The next day.
The edging I did last night when it was really dark doesn't look bad at all. I think I'm going to keep it. We're going to move these big planters with my peppers forward onto the grass so that I can mulch, weed, then mulch that back area. Then I will put them back into place kind of about where they are now. Need to do something with that edging. I think I'm just going to leave it and then cut it when I get over there somewhere. So we'll just cover it up with mulch. And yeah, and then we're going to tackle this mess. We're going to do some cutbacks for sure. Those are heavy. So it's not too weedy back here, but I need to move that soil because that would be definitely a red flag to the HOA. So that will get moved. And there are a few seedlings that really are getting big at this point, like this straw flower. He will get relocated, and then there are a few things into there. But first I'm going to quickly go through and deadhead and cut back these painted daisies. I'll put a picture here. I love them. I love the bright fuchsia pink color. And then I can get down in there and look for seedlings. So here's a quick tip. This is just something I personally prefer to do. Every time I'm redoing a container, I have some of my native soil on a hand that I have saved from digging projects. And I love to add clay, my native clay soil, into my containers because it helps retain some moisture. It's not a lot, you know, just a wee bit. Compared to how much potting mix I'm going to add to this, that is a small amount, but it can help retain moisture, and containers really need a moisture control because they dry out so quickly, especially in a hot southern location like where we're located. So I just wanted to empty one of those bags real quick before I start moving them out of the way. So I filled this one up after adding that clay. I'm going to put that perennial phlox into this container, probably towards the back, and then I'll plant some other flower seeds in the front. I think that'll look pretty, and then we'll leave those back for clearance vines or whatever else we want to plant. We'll have to think of something good. All right, so there we go. Nice, pretty. This will probably spread quite quickly. I can see there's already a new, well, where'd it go? It's in there somewhere. A new growth coming up. And so we'll just put a little something there in front, maybe some annual seeds that are quick growing. And I know you're saying, Heather, why are you putting in-ground soil into your containers? Because I'm just using what I have, and I think overall it'll work out fine. And I'm not growing food in there, so, you know, I don't really get into the whole debate over soil types and all that. You just have to make a personal decision, and I feel okay putting that soil in this container because I know at the bottom there are some rocks, there's old potting mix, there's clay, my native soil, and then yeah, I did fill up the rest with that in-ground soil. I think it'll be fine. I've used similar things before, so I think it'll be okay. So moving the dirt, I have uncovered some very angry carpenter ants, and they would probably like to get me right now. So I'm gonna just stay back for a little bit and work on something else and kind of water the area to encourage them to hopefully relocate, at least temporarily. They can come back when I'm done weeding and mulching. So now we are going to work on pruning this flowering okami cherry tree. Even if it's not the right time of year, we're going to do it anyway because it is making an awful lot of shade here, and it's gotten so huge so quickly. I think because of the fertilizer from barrels and containers that are around here. Maybe. I mean, really, it's not that old. I think I've had it 2 years, and that tree trunk is probably 10 times, 15 times the size it was when I bought it. Maybe it was like this, and now it's like that. So it needs to get trimmed because I've got all this out, and before I put the mulch, I want to trim it. So I cut my own hair as well, and sometimes I get a little too aggressive. Yeah, I should probably stop, but I think I might do a few more cuts on the other side and then see how it looks. I can't get up there to where I really need to trim it without probably a 20-foot ladder, so I'm just gonna make do with it looking like an amateur pruned it. Which she did. The ants are after me again. But I noticed the root is showing here from this cherry tree. It does have a really nice root flare, so I'm not doing that volcano thing that people are not supposed to do when they mulch their trees. But I do think I'm going to put at least 1 or 2 bags of the garden soil all the way around the root flare, and then I will add a little farther out, probably a couple bags of mulch, and that should look better and give it more space. It's not so crowded. So according to my plant app, this is Dyer's chamomile. I thought I had planted something else. I was thinking this was some type of not wallflower, but a wild flower. So I checked the app like 3 times, and then I Googled, and evidently this is Dyer's chamomile, commonly used to dye fabric because of this bright, beautiful color. So, should we cut it back now? Or should we let it keep looking pretty and wild and crazy and chaotic? because you can see it's a mess back in there. It's gonna be really hard for me to weed and mulch. So I am undecided. I kind of like it. I mean, it looks pretty with the yellow flowers against the orange butterfly weed, which has got a lot of people here visiting. Maybe I will compromise. We will cut back the ones in the far, far back. It's just a tangled mess. Tangled mess. But for some reason, it looks like the deer have been nibbling. They have been nibbling on the phlox. They have even tried the butterfly weed bush, which I didn't think they would eat that. I'm gonna have to come out here with my deer spray and discourage them. And I put a bag, almost a whole bag, about 3/4 around the trunk, and probably like 12 inches out from the trunk. And you're probably thinking, wow, it looks like you are creating a volcano now. Kinda, but this will all break down very quickly. The roly-polies will eat it, ants will carry it off, but it's going to give me a nice outline to put the mulch. So now I'll start the mulch probably 10 inches out, 12 inches out, and I won't volcano this tree because the mulch will be far away from the trunk. So let's talk about mulch real quick. Mulch in a bag, specifically mulch in a bag. You may think, wow, Heather has only found a snake once in a bag of mulch. That's not true. I have actually found 2 different times, 2 different snakes. So even though these are not much good, I wear gloves with mulch now. Used to, I didn't. And I kind of tap on the bag, kind of move it around before I open it. And any bag that has a hole, when I go to get it, I'm going to be extra careful. So just kind of bang on it, give it a few minutes, see if anything is slithering in there. So there we go. All we did, gave it some potting soil around the base and then the mulch. And you can see the ants are returning. No ants were harmed on purpose in the making of this video. So I've got those sticks there to kind of know I want to keep that clear of plants. I just want that to be for the tree. So it has a nice mulched area, no plants growing there. So I have the painted daisies trimmed. I have weeded all around them. There is a dianthus in there that is severely neglected and needs a little help. And I've weeded over here around the peppers, and I'm going to put down some of that in-ground soil, some fertilizer. And then around the peppers, I'm going to use the cypress mulch. And then I'm going to have to use just the regular black mulch around the rest of this area. So those celosia have volunteered for the last 2 to 3 years in my pots and all in this area. So instead of fighting it, I'm going to just relocate all of those behind the painted daisy. And I may throw a couple of peppermint zinnia seeds in the very back. And I think that's going to look so pretty. The last thing I'm going to do tonight is clean up these pots and put them back into position. They'll actually be farther away from the tree than they were previously, because you can see that I came out about 10 inches from the prior edging. So they'll get more light, but there are some weeds in here. And I weeded this pot, all 3, probably 4 or 6 weeks ago. Thought I got all of the volunteers out, but I have a bunch of volunteer, probably cinnamon basil, and then there's snapdragons, and then all of that celosia was also volunteer. Even though I disturbed the soil, I put new soil on top, somehow they managed to just migrate up to the top of the soil and start growing, which is kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to do this last job, and this will be it for tonight because it is late and I am tired. And I have peanuts growing from my neighbor feeding the squirrels. So let's see what they look like. Yep, there's Peanut.
2,000 years.
It is several days later, and I had to take a little break. I had my youngest having her wisdom teeth out, so back out here. A few nights later, sun will be setting a couple hours. It's cooling off, very hot day. I'm going to put the carport down, put the mulch down, and this whole section is done. But then we got to pick up over here. I think I may harvest a lot of these flowers, and not sure what we'll do with them. I mean, you can dye stuff with them, but I don't dye fabric. Maybe we can make a tea. They're awful pretty. I mean, maybe they'll just look pretty in a jar. Got a little toad friend hiding. Gonna have to relocate him so I can put the mulch down. He's so afraid. Look at how cute. They eat lots of slugs, so he is definitely a friend of the garden. Alright guys, this sounds super duper crazy, but I just pulled this out of my pepper container we were over there working on. My plant app tells me it's a wishbone. Wishbones are like zone 9, 10, 11. So it seems very improbable. Although it happened once before for me. I had a wishbone plant come back. And so I brought it over here to look at this one that I just bought the other day. And it really does have a similar leaf. So maybe we're going to keep this and hope that, yes, it is a wishbone. That would be so awesome. We've got this front section kind of contained for a moment. I'll deal with the base in a second. I think I want to go back to this area. Remember we planted, put this right on top. Oh no. There's a dahlia coming up here, and a dahlia, and another dahlia. But I have all these volunteer spider flowers, so I'm thinking I'm also going to interplant in between all the gladiolus. Maybe, let's just say 3 to 5 of these spider flowers. And that's going to help us with deer protection as well as looking incredibly beautiful. Alright, so I got 5 spread out all in through here. I'm hoping it'll give structure to these gladiolus to help hold them up because I hate when they flop over. And then I've also got a few of the darker tone snapdragons that I want to put just a few in through here with this celosia. And well, I got some volunteers in there, and then I've also got some I've been collecting. So now all we have to do, make a decision on cutting back here and weed, mulch, put some of the candy cane zinnia over here. I'm going to put some of the pink snapdragon over here, some more of the fire chief celosia. We'll go right here in this corner to kind of mimic that corner over there. All this will stay, but it might be trimmed back. At least these flowers might be. Just kind of waiting on the pollinators to kind of finish up. They're still kind of busy. And then I can get my hands in here and really get all this weeded mess out. Like, there's chickweed still in there. You can see probably 2 years of chickweed. And then I've got my edging marked. And I'm going to go all the way down until we meet up at the beginning of where I started a month ago. And then this bed will be completed, and then I will add a clip of the whole thing. It's going to look so pretty. I'm just so excited to be completely completed with one project. I have so many projects that are like halfway done or started, and it'll be just great to have one done, completed. And I love this bachelor button. Look at that. It's so pretty. Also add that along the way, if I see seedlings, like this is the chamomile, the dyer's chamomile, there's little bachelor button starts like this one. I will pull those up and pot them up. And then these are just kind of like scraps and little seedlings I found along the way. When I'm done, I will process them and see if they're worth salvaging. I totally forgot to weed this area, and I found my little friend. He came back. So hopefully he will eat all the slugs and the roly-polies, and I will feed him hornworms all summer long. He is such a cutie. He blends right in. I just happen to be down here on my hands and knees weeding and look up, and there he is. He's so cute.
The next day.
So I am back at it. It's another day. I did get the edging done last night, all the way down, and I'm trying to weed, and I've disturbed another ant's nest. Okay, so I got this celosia all throughout this little corner, and some of the cuttings I took off of this snapdragon when I bought it are down in here. And I'm going to leave these dire chamomiles here in place, but kind of like sweep them to the left. Accidentally pulled this guy out. As long as there's some tuber there, I think it may regrow next year. So pretty. Such a shame. Okay, so, yep. Gonna keep on moving. I don't think anyone wants me to get this job done. The bees, the weather, my kids. But I really, really, really want to get it done. So I am getting so close. There is the finish line right over there. I found some Sweet William, I think. 98% sure that's Sweet William. Don't remember ever planting it there, but I have had Sweet William in another section of the yard. So I think after I get the mulch down, I'm going to maybe put a little space to put more Sweet William in this area in front of the blooming onions. They're getting ready to open. Pollinators will love them. And I think what I'm going to do here is pull out all the larkspur in this section. You can see it's starting to go to seed. It's already flowered. These actually look like they've already opened. So I could sprinkle the seeds. Yep, they have. These are dry somewhere. I'll just put them up here. Don't know where I really want them next year, but there we go. So I have 3 Weigela, and these 2 on the ends are the same. And then the one in the middle, I'm pretty sure that's wine and roses, maybe. Something like that. It gets taller and bigger. It's really big, you can see. I've been very bad about pruning. So I am going to cut them back, just these front pieces, so that we can get light back there. I'm going to take out all the larkspur back there, trim it really well, make like an alcove. And then I want to put the tall black hollyhocks in the back. And then I'll do some shorter things towards the front. I can't find my champagne hollyhock seeds. I should have some that I collected, but I should also have a packet somewhere. So if I find them, we'll put the champagne right in front of the black hollyhock. My little garden friend has returned. He's so cute. All right, so these are raspberry zinnias, angelonia, and the black hollyhocks in the very back. And I'll sneak in a few champagne hollyhocks around the inside edges of the zinnia. Okay, so I'm relocating some Sweet William from the backyard. I just dug it up, and it's already flowered for the year, so it'll flower hopefully next year. You can see what the roots look like. It's like a tuber.
The next day.
Alright guys, I have made it all the way around to the beginning. Here is the area I just completed. And I still got some touch-up work to do, and I'm just going to go around the whole bed now, which it looks so tiny right now, but it's actually a really big bed, and show you how everything looks at this mostly completed state. And there's that poor tree. I will work on him another day. So I did decide I'm going to go ahead and take the dire chamomile out of this little corner. Don't like it there. It's just way too messy, and plus I've got other things planted. I did throw some peppermint zinnia seeds in there too, in the back. And then I'm going to leave this area the same. So it's garden phlox, butterfly bush, no, butterfly weed, and the dyer's chamomile in the back. So they all 3 kind of work together. And then we've got the ornamental onion or allium starting to open. And this will have bees on it like nothing. Like they will just be here all day long. And then, let's see. So we've got the Sweet William here under this first Weigela. I put some pincushion seeds here in this little corner to the right of the Sweet William. And then we've got our zinnias, which are called raspberry zinnia. And then we've got our angelonia that is raspberry also. And then we've got our black hollyhock seeds back in through here. And look, this one's starting to open. It must have liked me planting it last night. And then we've got Sweet William. And then I'll have more of that pincushion flowers. They've already been planted right there where the bachelor button currently is. And this is where I'm back to where, oh, the bees are everywhere this morning. I'm back to where I started, which is this corner here. Try not to step on the bees. And so now that I've come full circle, I need to get over here and work on this area now. It's time that I can remove those daffodil stems and the bachelor buttons kind of getting to the end of their life, as well as the larkspur starting to look messy, as you can see, but the bees are still loving it. So I'm going to leave it a wee bit longer. Got an African blue basil here, and I'm thinking about putting a big pineapple sage right in through here as the larkspur comes out. There are some hardy hibiscus in those planters. And we've got our butterfly bush, Black Knight. It is finally flowering. Butterflies have been all over it, very happy. And then we've got a pineapple sage there on the right. We've got the African blue basil on the left. We've got some lucifer bulbs, and I'm putting all of my straw flowers that I harvested during this bed cleanup. They were just volunteers. This one was a volunteer. That's his same placement. I didn't move him, but that one I moved. I got about 4 or 5 others I'm going to put in this area. It'll just be straw flower, the lucifer bulbs. I may move something here as well, but I'm not sure yet. These are the pomegranates. Now, if they get pollinated, I may get some fruit. If they don't, I may not. I only have one variety. Technically, I do have a dwarf out on my back deck, but it's mostly a house plant. And then I've got these containers here. This is Lady in Black Aster and some yarrow. This is my favorite hardy hibiscus. It has variegated leaves. It's looking so much better now that we've done this cleanup. The stems are starting to get real strong and straight. It was buried pretty much and not getting any sun, so the limbs were just very limp. And then we got a container of rue, salvia, and I moved garden phlox here that I accidentally pulled up when I was weeding yesterday. So this container's full. My peony, whichever you want to say. I did deadhead over here. I think I'll go ahead and deadhead the rest, make it look nice and clean. I planted the spider flowers all through here, and with the gladolias. Then we still have some wallflower left. And then I planted 3 of the petite dahlias. Then we got a container here with lantana, purple spike flower thingy, fountain grass. Yeah, this guy we're going to relocate. I don't like him. This is a Queen Violet, Queen Slavia, and it just looks horrible. Okay, so we're going to go this way. I relocated my purple bench right here with my purple containers that have my cold tolerant orange tree. There's one in each container. It'll take a while for them to pick up and grow. More straw flowers that were just planted there by themselves, and a tomato that's hiding. I'm going to maybe put another one there to hide. And then I've got my 2 watermelons that are going to take over this whole space, and some beautiful perennial phlox. Don't know what I'll put in those 2 containers, but I'm kind of keeping them hidden behind this butterfly bush until after the HOA comes. They don't like me to have a lot of planters out here. There's the rose we relocated. We will see how it does. Oh, and here's my stargazer lily. It's so tall and beautiful. I can't wait for this to open. Look at all the buds. I planted this for my friend Kim. She passed away a couple years ago. My age, very tragic. Very good friend since I was like 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade. So I grow those for her. That was her favorite flower. And then some larkspur still hanging on here. A little poppy. This might be the last poppy in this whole bed. This is one of my favorite color larkspurs right there. Then when I was weeding, I uncovered 2 hollyhocks. So those are probably black hollyhocks, and I'm hoping this bench will support them. And I thought this would be a good photo op to have people sit here, have the flowers behind them, and take pictures. Okay, so we've got 3 poblanos here. And this is just painted daisy, celosia, snapdragon, and I did plant a few of those peppermint zinnia seeds. Kind of get an overview here. And so we got 3 peppers, hot peppers here. Lots of volunteer cinnamon basil. Thinking about planting some of it or most of it in the little corners between the planters. But we'll see. I may just leave it. The 2 end planters have snapdragon. This one has pink, the other one has red. This corner, well, we're back to where we started. Wow, that was quick. What took me, gosh, so many hours of work. I'm going to put an estimate right here. Looks easy now just looking at it, but this was a lot of work. And I didn't do anything for 2 years to this bed. So if you've been having, you know, stuff like that going on too, don't worry. When you get the time, put in the effort, put in the work, and you can have your garden back again. So, hope you're having a great gardening week. You'll come back because I have more beds just like this that are in desperate need of work. All right, guys, bye.